There is an invisible world. It's hard for us to believe that because we live in the natural world. We relate to what we can see with our eye, what we can hear with our ear, what we can reach out and touch. But the Bible teaches there is a supernatural world, an invisible world, and that is the realm of God. That is the realm of angels. And it is all around us right now. If we could somehow pull back the veil, if you will, it would blow our minds to see what we would see. To see the angels of God at work. To see all the spiritual activity swirling around us at any given moment.
One frosty evening in December 1981, Roy Godwin was driving with his wife and children.
We were travelling on a main road, quite a wide main road, through a forest. And suddenly there were 4 headlights side by side, immediately in front of us, one car overtaking the other. I instinctively pulled the car to the left onto the grass verge, but the car that was in front of me hit us head on. It was very serious indeed. I was quite clear that I was dying. Both the police and an ambulance came. Smoke started to come up from the front of the car, and they needed to get everybody out. They couldn't get me out because I was well and truly trapped in there.
Roy believes that whilst he was waiting to be freed from the damaged vehicle, something quite miraculous happened.
I was alone in the car. Suddenly through the darkness came a figure, and he walked very steadily and clearly straight between the trees, through the forest, which was impenetrable, certainly at that time with brambles. But he walked in a straight line, straight to the side of the car. And he climbed in. The seat was covered with broken glass, but he simply sat there. He was wearing a coat with a hood up, didn't see his face, but he put his arm straight across my shoulder. It felt as though I'd been plugged into the mains. This incredible force and power was just continuously flooding through me. After a while, the ambulance men came over and said that they were taking my family off to hospital. And at that point, this person who was sitting by me climbed out of the car and said with a very strong and clear voice, "Stop." And he said to the ambulanceman, "You're to bring his wife over here to him." And they brought her over to me. And then he spoke to me. He said, "Man, you are to know that your wife and children and you as a family will be together again and whole, and you are to disregard anything else that anyone tells you."
What was the reaction of the doctors when you got to hospital and they saw your injuries?
I was wheeled straight into theatre, and they asked me to sign a form giving them permission to amputate my left foot and lower leg. And I couldn't give them that permission, because all I could hear was, "You are to disregard anything that anyone else says. You and your family will be together and you will be whole." And so I didn't have my foot amputated, and I have it today, and we're doing very well together. One of the things I was concerned was that because of the seriousness of my injuries, I dreamt it all, as it were. But some weeks after the accident, the police turned up unannounced. And they had two questions. Given the extent of the damage to the car, they wanted to know whether I had any explanation as to how it was that I was still alive. And then their second question was about the figure who was in the car with me, who had carried such authority that they had unhesitatingly obeyed it. It seems to me as though God sent an angel to help me. I knew I wasn't abandoned. I knew I wasn't on my own. I was clear that God was going to carry me through where I was, and I felt loved.
Photograph posted to Facebook by a mother in Alvin.
The woman's 7-year-old son, Asher, took the photo. He captured the image out of an airplane window.
When the mother saw the picture, she immediately thought it might be Asher's guardian angel. Our Chip Brewster has their story.
This is Asher. He just got back from a trip to Washington, D.C., lives here in Alvin, Texas, and you've become a semi-famous photographer. Nice.
He is such a blessing.
Yeah.
It wasn't until Carrie Lyles gave birth to Asher 7 years ago that she learned he had Down syndrome. It's something the family has embraced since day one.
We did name him Asher with the 2 capital A's because of the extra chromosome.
Oh!
We couldn't ask for an awesomer kid.
Who takes some awesome pictures. One of his recent snapshots during a trip home from visiting his older brother has raised a few eyebrows.
So we're taking off and there's a lot of turbulence. And he's sitting next to me and he's like, of course, when he sees the phone, he wants it. He, starts taking pictures. And I'm like, cool, because that's kind of distracting him. So I'm going through and I'm holding my thumb on there and I'm like, check, 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 delete, check, 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 delete, check, check. Whoa, what is that? And as soon as I got internet service, I'm like, post that to my Facebook and I'm like, y'all, look at this picture that Asher took. The heck is this?
Comments poured in, each with a theory, but Carrie has her own belief.
Asher has always had something. If it's his guardian angel, if it's someone watching him. I guess we'll never really know what exactly it is, but I do know for a fact it was out the window of the airplane. He took it, and it's an iPhone picture, and it's real.
A poll that was conducted by Time magazine revealed that a whopping 69% of Americans believe in the existence of angels. That's almost 70%. And 48% of Americans believe they have their own guardian angel. And 32% even said that they had felt some kind of angelic presence in their life at some point. And I think one of the reasons we believe in angels is because we've all had those close brushes with death. We've had that moment that could have gone the wrong way, where we just barely missed that car, or we just barely got through that situation, and we wondered, was that an angel that delivered me? Was that an angel that intervened on my behalf?
Earlier this week, we showed you a photograph of what some believe is an angel. It was on a frame of film from a disposable camera.
What appears to be an angel shows up in a snapshot taken by Brian Roth of Herculaneum. He's the proud grandfather of Blaine Thompson, who posed with teammate Hayden Voelz after their team won a youth football game Super Bowl. His son, 20-year-old Kyle Luatters, was on his way to the field when he died in a fiery crash with a semi-truck on Highway 40 east of the Winghaven exit. On Thursday, Dad saw our angel story.
I'm sure there'll be people that will dispute it, but that's okay and hopefully there's a lot of people that this touch and gives them faith that there is something afterwards.
11-year-old girl feels as if she shouldn't even be alive right now, but she is very thankful
that she is, 2 pit bulls attacked Sarah Beth McAdams while she was riding her bike in East Toledo.
Well, she is in a lot of pain, as you can imagine, and feels horrible. But after speaking to Sarah Beth, I found she is a very strong young girl. Tonight I asked her what was going through her mind during the attack.
That I was going to die. But some angels came down, they saved me, and I knew that Jesus sent angels.
Now, at times, Sarah Beth did her best to hold back tears, but as you can imagine, this was a tough ordeal for anyone, let alone an 11-year-old girl.
Tonight, Quincy police say it's amazing. A 5-year-old boy survives falling from a 7th-floor condo window.
And he not only survives, he's expected to be fine. WBZ's Jim Smith has the story tonight.
Well, as we all know, situations like this one usually do not have a positive outcome, but this one looks like an exception. This little boy fell a long way, but he survived.
Between like the corner of the bushes over there.
Muhammad Khan shows us the spot where a 5-year-old boy landed, a child who tumbled 7 stories after falling through a screen. Incredibly, the little boy is not believed to be seriously hurt. Muhammad actually saw the boy fall right past his own window.
I heard something by my window and it fell down like really fast. So I thought it was like something random, so I just ignored it. And then a few seconds later, I heard the lady screaming like at the top of her lungs. And I actually saw a kid on the ground, so I was like, oh my God, a kid fell. Then I went back to the balcony and then I actually saw the kid like get up and he started walking.
His fall was broken by the screen he fell through and a shrub. He's expected to be okay. Neighbors at Captain's Cove condos in disbelief.
It is like a miracle. I think his guardian angel was definitely there.
It was his blessed day. An angel caught him.
Didn't even get a broken bone. It's like a miracle.
One former FBI employee was among the first responders at the Flight 93 crash site. In the past 10 years, she's never been able to go back there. Now she's sharing her story and one unusual thing she says she saw.
Lily Leonardi spent years working as a street cop, but nothing prepared her for what she saw in that field outside Shanksville 10 years ago.
There was stuff hanging out of the trees. There was debris everywhere. It felt like somebody sucked the life right out of me.
And then she says she saw something remarkable.
The angels started appearing on the perimeter of the crash site.
That's right. The FBI official says she saw angels, dozens of them, at the Flight 93 crash site.
They were dressed as if they were in warrior garb, like a Roman centurion. And there were so many of them you couldn't see their faces.
At the time of the disaster, Leonardi was the community affairs coordinator for the FBI in its Pittsburgh division. When she initially arrived at the crash site, she told the Associated Press that, quote, "The biggest thing for me is that there were no bodies there. I'm used to crime scenes, but this one blew me out of the water. It just looked like the ground had swallowed up the plane. That's when I started seeing the shimmery lights," she said, "and it was kind of misty. And that's when I first saw the angels there. And I didn't say anything to the guys because you can imagine if I would have said I just saw angels on the crash site, they'd have called the office and they would have said she's lost her mind, tell her to go home." So Leonardi kept what she saw to herself for nearly 2 years. Then she finally told others, including her former FBI supervisor, Kenneth McCabe. "I believe her," McCabe told AP. "I know she believes 100% that's what she saw. I know she's a sane person, so I'm not going to discount what she says she saw."
A Harrison woman barely got away when her 2003 Chevy Impala exploded. For KY3 News, I'm Steve Grant.
I'm Lisa Rose. There's no other way to look at it because I wouldn't be here if they hadn't stopped. And I know that. So, yeah.
Heather Fleming can tell you her story because 2 men saw what she couldn't.
I had no intention of getting out of that car. And I would have been in it.
While driving home on Highway 65, Heather says her gas pedal wasn't right.
It made a little bit of a noise.
She pulled over and waited for her boyfriend to pick her up.
Next thing I know, out of the corner of my eye, some guy is running over. And he's like, "Fire, fire." And I'm like, "What?" And so I got my purse and I came out and I kind of looked underneath and he's doing this. He goes, "Go, come on, come on, come on, come on." I mean, I'm talking out of the movies is what it looked like. And then the whole thing exploded.
Was there a big boom?
Big boom. Yes, big boom. And it goes to show that everything was destroyed right in here.
Heather says she did not know her car was under a safety recall for an underhood fire risk. She's stuck with the tow bill and borrowing a friend's car. But she'll tell you she's blessed because of two strangers.
I know that they were angels, and they saved my life, and I wish I would have gotten their names.
Hello, Sid Roth here with Bruce Van Outa, and Bruce had a 10,000-pound truck fall on him. Literally, he thought his body had been like guillotined in half. What happened is he was crushed. I mean, you were crushed almost like a pancake.
Yeah.
What happened next?
Well, after I was crushed, I looked at myself and I could see, from my point of view, it did look like I was cut in half because I couldn't see the other half of my body through the axle, and I could see here where the axle was laying on the cement, so I just called out, "God help me," twice. And the mechanic I was working with was quick, and he called 911. They got the truck jacked up. I remember wanting to get out from underneath the truck really bad. And because I didn't like the way it was jacked up again, I was afraid it was going to fall on me again, so I reached back and grabbed the front bumper, big chrome front bumper. It was right behind my head. I grabbed it, pulled myself out to the point of where my head was sticking out from underneath the front bumper of this large Peterbilt, and that's when I went unconscious. And next thing I know, I'm up in the ceiling of this garage, looking down, out-of-body experience.
And I assume there was no feeling, you had no feeling when you're looking down at yourself.
Yeah, no, it was just like watching a movie.
Did you know it was you?
You know, I can't honestly say I knew it was me. Not at first. It was just like watching a movie. And I saw there was more people. The volunteer fire department had gotten there. And I was listening to the conversations people were having. But, you know, this out-of-body experience was incredible. But the most incredible thing was I'm looking down at myself. I can see my head sticking out from underneath the front bumper. My eyes were closed. My head was turned to the right side. And there's a picture just burned in my memory of like that. And on each side of me is an angel. And the man that I've been working with was above me. And he's about 6'1", 6'2", and he was running this. I was watching him run his fingers through my hair, and he was crying and patting me on the head. And their heads, the heads of these angels stuck up at least this much higher than his. They were also on their knees, but they had their arms in underneath the truck towards my body. So these angels had their hands on me.
So
from where I could see.
They were really keeping you alive.
Oh, definitely keeping me alive.
Well, what happened next?
Well, that scene is burned in my mind, and then they pulled me out from underneath the truck. The angels stayed. I watched from the back corner a red-haired EMT worker. I've met her now, Shannon. She came in. She got down between those angels. She moved this man out of the way, and she started slapping me in the face and saying, "Open your eyes, open your eyes." And I was watching and watching from above, listening to her, watching. And next thing I knew, I was back in my body, looking at her eye to eye.
Well, when the medical team came, what did they decide to do?
Oh, they called med flight right away because it was such a bad injury. So I was med flighted to the largest trauma center in our state in Wisconsin.
Now, you told me that you should have bled to death.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
The doctors told me because of my injuries, off your heart, your mesenteric artery and your mesenteric vein, superior mesenteric artery, superior mesenteric vein, come down, feed your lower half of your body. And it was completely severed, not pinched, not torn, but completely severed, both of those in multiple places, plus other veins. And so they said, with my injury, I should have bled to death in 8 minutes, 10 minutes top. In fact, we were told by several doctors now that they can find no other cases anywhere ever of anybody ever living from those injuries, because they always come in dead on arrival, because it's like having arteries like the size of a garden hose cut.
You told me they were amazed you even lived.
Oh, completely, because it was an hour and 40 minutes from the point of the accident until they got me to the hospital. I was in trauma for an hour before I lost all blood pressure, and they rushed me into the OR, which I should have lost all blood pressure right away at that 8 minutes. In fact, they put in my doctor records, my medical records, they put in 18 units of blood, which is about 8 liters. The body holds about 5 liters, 5 to 6 liters. So they put in more. That just tells you, as they were putting in, it was just coming out, leaking into my cavity, my stomach cavity. So it's a large miracle that I ever even made it.
Thank you for watching. We would like to thank our viewers and subscribers for watching our videos. We appreciate all the encouragement and feedback. This channel really means so much to us. Our prayers are with you all. Please support Shattered Paradise by purchasing a t-shirt from our shop, Apparel Dime, on Spreadshirt.com. Now you can wear your faith on your sleeve. The shop features faith-based t-shirts for men, women, and kids. The link is in the description below. Thank you, and God bless.